Welcome back to Style Esports Season 17. The playoffs in our Shurima division between Chaotic Solar and Hypnotic Gaming. These two squads have been battling hard throughout the playoffs here in the highest level of competition that Style Esports offers. If you were here last week on the cast with Abba Trombone and Crewman, you would have seen this Hypnotic squad taking on Mythic Creation, and they took them down in a 2-0 fashion. But now their next opponents, Chaotic Solar, against them on the red side in game number one. This is a squad coming in as the number one seed and should not be taken for granted because these two squads still have this series and one more if they want to play in the grand finals by December 31st, looking to win $700 for that first place prize. My name is Llama. Alongside me is AllOutPotato. The draft is all in. We are through bans and looking like it's going to be a Xayah first pick. Potato, pick us up on what is going on in the draft.
Oh yeah, it's the heavy hitters coming out tonight. We've got the high diamond players, the masters players, the grandmaster player, and both of these teams, they may be in the knockout bracket, but they want to get back to the finals. They want to beat that team that knocked them out earlier. They want to cash out on this pot. It's the ADCs coming out right away. Xayah, one of the favorites at all levels of plays recently. Just really nice laning pressure, great scaling, great team fighting, great safety. Aphelios, Nico, we got more power picks coming out. Draft is starting strong.
Absolutely. Lots of priority power picks coming through. Hypnotic Gaming. We saw their ADC. That is Viper here, the ADC that's their support for the squad. I think it's actually She Was Nice, the attack damage carry that will be played here for this Hypnotic squad. She Was Nice did have a great game to Xayah last week again on that cast. If you haven't caught it, the VOD is still alive. So you can take a look and see that combo. And I mean, it really would not be a Xayah pick without the feathered lover themselves, Rakan, in that support role coming through for Viper, like we were mentioning earlier. Jungle Nocturne, I mean, we're seeing a powerhouse of engage from Hypnotic Gaming and Chaotic Solar with a game plan of their own. Actually, that last second, going to be matching the priority pick in the jungle to give some single target lockdown with the Vi pickup, something that's lost a little bit of prio recently.
Yeah, Nocturne picked away by Hypnotic is going to deny that Nico Nocturne combination that
Yeah.
we've seen in pro play from time to time. But Vi still offers a similar press R, get in there, get them locked down, get them bursted out with this Nico combination as well. Some nice clearing, good gank potential. So definitely like to see the pick. Renata, I think, would have been a strong option as well, just guaranteeing some early bot prio with the range of Aphelios and Renata there. Also a pretty useful counter engage tool, trying to lock down Rakan maybe as he dashes in or provide some additional peel from the Nocturne. I mean, you can't one-shot an ADC if he just one-shots you back before the bailout runs out. So definitely some great picks coming out already.
And speaking about some one-shotting potential, if you're taking a look at your screen, Hypnotic Gaming banning away the Darius in the second half of bans gave a little bit of respect to J Bear LOL in the top lane here. This is a Grandmaster 600 LP Darius, nearly one-trick pony, 335 games on that Darius pick this season with 42, their second most played on the Olaf. They left it up till the second phase, but now they are banning it away. So taking away some of these priority champions. Scruff Ninja's Akali is going to get banned away by this Chaotic Solar squad. And it looks like that Renata that was actually hovered by Chaotic is going to be that last ban. So we need to see a support and a top laner for Chaotic. My guess would be you're just going to blind pick a support pairing right now. Something with range is great. Honestly, something like Melio could be nice, but you got to be aware of this Rakan, because if you are playing Aiden Chanter, Rakan wants to pounce on that with the quickness, and if they can get that knockup. So instead, playing for some fight potential. It's going to be the truly outrageous Tarek pick here in the fourth slot.
Oh yeah, the Enchanter Guardian hybrid, hoping to dazzle his way through this first game of this matchup, is going to lose a little bit of laning pressure, maybe against the likes of something more ranged like the Renata, Emilio, as you mentioned, maybe something like a
Yeah.
Lulu, but very effective against the dive of Nocturne and Rakan, and certainly is going to ward off some of that pressure. Now we got the top lane blind coming in.
Ooh.
Camille going up there in the top lane is going to be the pick here for Ready.
Sushi Cat did have a good performance on this Camille and is going to match it down with just the lockdown Twisted Fate as well as that global map pressure to match with Nocturne. So a lot of 5v5 around the map that Hypnotic is playing for. These ultimates so crucial in catching out targets and side lanes and splits. So I really like this Nocturne TF pairing. And I think you have to be really careful about how you execute with this for both sides. If Hypnotic Gaming is not able to pair up these two ultimates very successfully with TF and that fifth pick Nocturne, it can be really hard for them to get the picks they need to actually accelerate the game. And Chaotic Solar, you got to be careful in these side lanes as Nico and Renekton as the mid game hits, because if you are pushed too far forward and you don't have enough vision from your team or enough information or pushing lanes, you could easily go down to this power of all these champions collapsing on top of your screen.
I absolutely agree. When it comes to champions like Nocturne and TF, we usually hear, so much of the value, so much of the impact in their gameplay is determined by how those first couple of ultimate usages come on through. When you double down on that, that is all the more true. So I think definitely going to keep an eye on how this global pressure might be exerted. On the other side, I think we have some very key ultimates as well. I think I'm particularly drawn to the Nico, the Taric here. When it comes to the team fighting, I think those two elements of the Chaotic Solar comp are going to be super crucial in terms of whether they succeed or not.
Especially Tarek as that response ultimate, it almost feels like, right, Potato? Like when you have this what's the name of his ultimate here? Cosmic Radiance, I think is what it's called.
Ah, sounds
Um
right.
yes, that sounds right. Let's go with that for now until we get into game and I'm corrected in game. But yeah, Tarek's ultimate, because there's a channel time, you actually have to wait until you're able to get that ultimate down. If Hypnotic is able to play fast enough in these team fights, immediately Camille jumps in. You get a gold card, Nocturne flies over the wall, a quickness over the wall, right? If you can get these things laid down on top of a priority target like a Nico or a Philios, Tarek's still going to be channeling that ultimate by the time the damage comes through, and it can be that fast. So, yeah, as you mentioned, this is a key ultimate. And Tarek, buddy, this has to be you now. I am looking at this support for this Chaotic Solar squad on how they're going to be able to respond to this pressure. And a lot of it is, when do you push that button? If you are their support of Boyo here, what are you doing? What are you looking for that right timer? Because it's easy enough too, if you just got to disengage when you see the Cosmic Radiance coming down, just run the other direction here, right? So I think that can be kind of a feast or famine ultimate and is a crucial player in these team fights.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The timing is so critical here. And fortunately, a lot of the engage tool on the opponent side does have a bit of a delay to it, right? You have a little bit of time to react to Nocturne flying in. TF has that telegraphed TP coming on in. Camille
Yeah.
takes that split second to dive in on you with that ultimate. So you do have a little bit of buffer time, but still the cast time of the Taric ulti is going to be longer. And with so many diving tools, this Aphelios is going to have his work cut out
Oh
for
my
him if
gosh.
he is meant to survive.
Absolutely. Work cut out a lot for this Aphelios. I mean, Potato, it feels like we're talking a lot about this later game because we're so excited about these ultimates and these team fights. We saw last week that Hypnotic Gaming does play calm, does play calculated. They don't feel like they're down and out if they have a small disadvantage in the early game. They are a team that can lock down, look for their moments, and take big team fights when they matter the most. So, yes, the early game matters, and we are just a couple of moments away from that, but you got to be looking on how this team will be able to respond in the mid game. That's what I'm excited for. It sounds like that's what you're excited for here too, Potato.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, even if we look at the lane matchups early on, right, there are still some pretty interesting things that are going on. Nico is sometimes known to be a bit of a lane bully. Renekton is known also to get push in a lot of these early matchups. So my Vi might have a lot of space to play around in the top side of the map early on here. And Nocturne, of course, we're going to be looking for when that level 6 comes around, when those ultis come around, and how he might be able to push his
Well,
tempo.
right now we're just waiting on a couple of moments for the spectator delay until we do get into game number one. If you are just joining us, this is Potato and Llama bringing you the cast in the Shurima division. We're going to take a short break, but while we do that, let us know with your predictions. There's a current live prediction who you think is going to win game one in this critical best of three to move on to the top three and guarantee themselves at least a third place finish here in the Shurima division. And we will have to find out what happens on the Rift in just a couple of moments. Stay where you're at, get those predictions in. We'll see you soon. For the first time this evening, and maybe the last time for one of these two teams, we are on to the Rift for game number 1. It is the matchup between Hypnotic and Chaotic. Will you get lulled to sleep, or will you show the aggression on the Rift tonight? Only time will tell. We're seeing a little bit of a 5-point from both of these squads as we are on to this last matchup at the knockout stage before the semifinals.
You know, given these two teams' histories, something tells me that we might not be getting lulled to sleep. And I certainly hope that's not going to be the case because I think we're going to get some very good League of Legends coming out here tonight. Teams are setting up, they're getting ready to start their clears. A few wards coming out here early on. Nocturne dropping that Raptor ward, trying to keep track of where Dumpa's going to go.
And we got to keep track of Dumpa too here, Potato. Before this game started, we were looking at even the wrong starting lineup, but Dumpa came in and we thought, what are you doing picking a Vi into Zaya? Like, that seems kind of strange. You're kind of just giving up your cease and desist there if you got the ultimate available with that Featherstorm from Zaya. But then we looked at this player and we realized this guy not only has 3.5 million mastery points on this Vi champ, it is their only pick that they have with 86 plays and a 66% win rate. But that's not even the craziest part, Potato. A 5.1 KDA sitting in Diamond 1 with a 67% win rate? Like, this guy looks like he's smurfing at high elo with this kind of match history.
Yeah, absolutely a signature pick to behold, and I'm hoping that they will be able to deliver today because, yeah, as you mentioned, it's a hard pick to make work into She Was Nice here. I mean, we have all the rest of Hypnotic with a heavy dive comp. Zaya usually able to keep herself safe, but with those kind of stats, you know, you got to keep your eyeballs peeled to see where that buy might be coming from.
And then you want to look for those little small plays and intricacies that make good Vi players so hard to play against. How you don't even just have to lead with a Vault Breaker out of the bush. But you just start walking at them, right? And then once they flash, then you can get that Vault Breaker channeled, hold it for a little extra length, right? These kind of things paired with things like flashing to get the knock up immediately into a cease and desist, right? I'm excited to see all the little mechanics in this high elo. And speaking about mechanics, this is Macro coming in now. Vi saw that vision, know where Nocturne is, and wants to take the 2v1.
Yep, taking advantage of their mid laner Prio, going on to Riddy, driving him out of his own jungle, going for that red buff take early on. We do have a 4-member answer potentially coming in from Hypnotic. Riddy is low, the red buff is secure, but now the fight is going to start. Riddy dueling with the mid laner on the other side. Verticality is late, but now comes on along. The cleanse blown from She Was Nice. 1 HP on both sides. Never Saw is actually going to be the one to secure first blood here, but might get traded right back on into the support here. Viper, is he going to pick this one up? Surely is, but you will take that trade if you're Chaotic. Gets the buff secure, gets the kill onto the mid laner, and only gives one over to the support.
So a good collapse from both teams, and because there wasn't enough Prio, I don't think Neversaw is going to lose too much. Does have to burn the teleport because Scruff Ninja crashed this wave, but we'll be there in time to claim it. So even though that was a 4-member collapse in the bot side jungle so early on, didn't look like either team's lanes lost too much for that aggression. And yeah, Dumpa found the angle and put in some work. And yeah, like you mentioned, definitely worth for Neversaw getting that first blood. And now is right into the bot side here.
Looking for another angle, doing the slow walk up, just as you mentioned. Viper there without a flash. She Was Nice burning her own flash. The verticality does not quite have the damage. Almost goes down to the tower. Actually will go down to the minions there. Viper not even securing that second one. So slightly botched, just barely short on damage there, but potentially is going to be vulnerable to a repeat gank as both members of Hypnotic's bot lane now flashless.
I do wonder if maybe they thought that could have been the Nico transform as Vi there. But yeah, that was exactly what I talked about, Potato. Just walking out of the bush. But remember that Vault Breaker also scales with damage. It was such a quick use of Q for the knockup. Just holding it for a little bit more time might have been able to get the damage needed to get the kill. It was very unfortunate here, but I like the angle from Dumpa. Has those double buffs still available. Now it's on the top side, but Riddy, yes, I know we're talking about red laners, but take a look at this blue side now. Is on the mid lane now with Viper.
Yep, some really efficient pathing there, taking away the Raptors, immediately coming to gank mid, knowing that Neversaw has no flash is going to be easy pickup there on that one. And yeah, these small things, right? They can make the difference. Not only was that a short tap Q, but also the damage was a little bit split. Verticality was hitting Viper, Dumpa was going on to She Was Nice, and that also was a bit of a difference maker there in the bot lane engagement. And now what we have is 3-1 advantage to Hypnotic so far. It was Chaotic getting that first good play, but a few small mistakes means that Hypnotic is still very much in the lead now.
And Hypnotic is a squad that's really not used to getting these early advantages either. We saw in their games last week, they were actually the team on the back foot through the first 18 to 20 minutes of both of those games here, but they found the team fighting later on. So it feels like maybe they're not even the ones making these aggressive plays, but are playing correctly in a reactive way, right? We saw the collapse down to at least trade 1-for-1. We saw them punish the overaggression in the dive bot side from Dumpa, and then that same punish from Riddy, getting the second rotation on the chickens was another great punish. So I like seeing a team that doesn't feel like they need to be the aggressor necessarily, but make the correct macro responses across the map. And they seem to be doing that so far early on. But sometimes that means you lose a dragon like we see here. And it's going to be nice for Chaotic Solar to pick this one up early in game number 1.
Yep, definitely using their prio in both bot lane and mid lane to secure that first dragon. So I definitely like them taking advantage of this strong point in their early draft. Now going to get that bot lane pushed on in. And yeah, they might be looking for some dragon stacking. I mean, they have some decent mid game tower with the champions they picked. Renekton also securing himself a nice advantage in the top lane. Might be able to use that TP on the next dragon play to find something.
And that's what you want to see, right? 22 farm, the difference in the top side. Like that's exactly where you want to be with a 5th pick and an early laning pressure. Neither jungler spending too much time even in that area. So definitely some focus toward bot side more. It feels like a little bit more here. But I mean, what I'm really looking for before that next Dragon Potato is actually going to be this Rift Herald that's hitting the map in 30 seconds.
Yep, coming up soon, and we already have Viper moving on towards it. Maybe going to see if they can soak some mid lane XP or make a quick play mid. Neversaw does have their flash this time around. Riddy not level 6 yet either, so the threat on the mid lane are not going to be as strong as it potentially could be otherwise. Going to poke their head into the chaotic jungle, try and find out some laners, and it's looking like it's a 3v3. We do have She Was Nice moving up early as well.
And that's when you see this skirmish here and you're looking at the power of level 6 timers from Scruff Ninja versus that of Neversaw. Like, this Nico is way more powerful in a skirmish like that in a 3v3 with their ultimate than Scruff Ninja is by using their old TF ultimate, right? Like, Destiny is doing nothing in these fights now. And Dumpa even has level 6 at the same time now as Riddy, and same kind of thing. If we're talking about the power in team fights, I favor so heavily Chaotic Solar's mid jungle over the power of the macro play here. Verticality trading aggressively in the bot side with She Was Nice, and Dumpa playing very passively topside.
Yeah, looking for a pick onto Sushi Cat. Sushi Cat does have the flash available, going to use the Hextech ultimatum, but is going to get bursted down instantly. Riddy's first ultimate, we're talking about it this time, does not hit. Trying to use it for the counter engage, but unfortunately too late to save the life of their top laner.
Now maybe a trade in the mid lane here. Boyo, oh, I thought they might have wanted something. Now they're going to look for a dive on Riddy.
Yep, Riddy going to be a little bit vulnerable here. Does have the flash available. Is he going to use it effectively? J-Bear keeps off the tank. The spell shield comes out, doesn't block it though. It's a 2-for-0 find for Chaotic in the top side.
Oh, Potato, this is so bad though for this early squad of Hypnotic Gaming. Both their first ultimates went wide. We saw this Paranoia top lane used defensively and reactively, but not getting anything. And then again, Destiny was used from Twisted Fate to try to respond, but it was too late once again. These are 2 long cooldowns, both over 2 minutes, with Destiny nearly 3 minutes, where now you just have these champions who have global ability to impact the map and have no ability to do that now until the second dragon timer.
Yep, and Verticality had hold his own in a 1v2 there briefly, but even so, still ahead in CS. So these are all things that you like to see if you're a Chaotic fan.
This is very good for Chaotic, I think, because the pressure and why you pick this mid jungle is to synergize up and affect other parts of the map. Affect bot lane, affect top lane. That's why you picked a carry top. That's why you picked a go button in your support, right? Like, that's what they were looking for. But that's where that reactivity that I was talking about earlier from this squad actually comes back to bite you a little bit. If you are the team that picks the Nocturne TF, you have to find the aggressive plays. But it's Dumpa, once again, half their pass of the jungle, looking for something more into Scruff Ninja, even forcing the flash out.
Yeah,
This
forcing
is
the
still
flash down.
winning.
Ready there is ready for the counter engage. A flash. Two-man Pop Blossom from Neversaw. And the next Vault Breaker is going straight into the back of Ready.
Oh,
Second Paranoia. Again, finds nothing. Even TP pulled down from Sushi Cat. Will they look for a re-engage?
something.
Viper is level 6 here. Neversaw, no ultimate. Tries to find a deception. There's a TP coming in from J-Bear as well. Neversaw falling very low. Dumpa ready to follow some assistance. The Sushi Cat stun is not interrupted by Dumpa there, but now they are the ones
gotta run.
progressing forward. She was nice trying to push on forward, but that's a big crocodile coming into the faces of Hypnotic, forcing another flash out from the Xayah. A base there in their face, as if to rub it in. The red buff will be their reward alongside the kills that they found.
But yeah, Potato, this is exactly what I'm talking about. The Paranoia was burned again for nothing, right? This Chaotic Solar squad is continuing to push the aggression on the back of Dumpa. I got to give this Vi so much credit. Yes, you have mastery on the champion, but you seem to have mastery of knowledge on how to play the macro. You're playing past the river. You're playing past this midpoint here that is that aggressive space, and they're finding the plays inside of it. Yes, maybe it punished them just a little bit in some other plays, but we're definitely seeing the power here now, right? Like this is showing what you can do with this aggression. And meanwhile, Hypnotic Gaming, I thought they were going to try to do that with their mid jungle, but Riddy and Scruff Ninja unable to pair up so far with these huge game-changing across the map fight ultimates, and it's not working out for them here on the other side.
Yeah, not working out so far indeed. And I also have to give props to the rest of this Chaotic team, especially for Neversaw, who has consistently been able to secure that prio in the mid lane and link up for these plays with the jungle. And I think that's been a crucial ingredient in making these plays succeed.
And now with the second dragon on the map, it is looking like it's going to be the red team. The first one's down here, but Nocturne in the area as well. Destiny is available in case they need just a little bit more vision. But Sushi Cat, no teleport available, neither does J-Bear, meaning this next fight is just a 4v4. But it looks like they have different objectives right now.
Yeah, Paranoia coming up very soon. Verticality might actually be at risk of being dove, and here it is. Feather Storm goes on down as well. A nice flash from Verticality going to keep him safe. The Rift Herald dropped there, but now Riddy is under very heavy fire. Absolutely gets crushed there. Dumpa on the side now. There is the Vault Breaker and the Nico combo. That's the one we were looking for from the start of the game there. She was nice. It's going to get absolutely obliterated. Destiny goes now into the top lane. They might find one in response here. J-Bear with a massive heal coming on through, but Sushi Cat finds a good stun in response. He is going to have the wild card secure the kill on there. So a nice counterplay in the top lane, but the kills are secured bot, and the second dragon is secured as well. Chaotic trying to make their way towards this Cloud Soul.
With 30 seconds until the plates fall off, I like seeing that Verticality is able to stay in this lane, pick up so much extra gold for themselves with the completed Storm Razor and 1,000 gold in their pocket individually, sitting up nearly 1,000 gold on She Was Nice. So a great spot to be at as this Aphelios here. And Verticality did a great job by burning that flash and then not falling victim to that dive angle. So yes, you got to play topside if you are Hypnotic Gaming onto this Renekton. But what's it really worth here if you're losing a second dragon? And you lost that entire bot side tower before these plates fell off. We're seeing it in the gold lead at least.
Yeah, we are, and high value flash for sure. And, you know, just like we were giving props to the synchronization of Chaotic, I do have to slightly criticize. It feels that Hypnotic are a little bit desync there. I mean, I think the idea behind the play was good. You pull three people, you try and catch the Aphelios, but Nocturne just pulled the trigger, went in by himself. Rakan was there, available, had ultimate ready, but simply was unable to join in on the play because it just happened a little bit too fast, and Chaotic were there ready to punch back.
And that speed is crucial, Potato, that you're pointing out, right? Because if the call early on is, let's give the dragon, let's dive this Aphelios, let's make that play, that's awesome, like, right? Like, that's totally okay, but the team has to be on that same page and has to pull that trigger instantaneously together. And that you're right that that's what we missed here. But Now it looks like we got a little bit of a lull here in this game state, but it's going to be a fight in the top side as I say
And
that.
not for long, they're taking this Nocturne ultimate, going on top again. There is a TP coming in, another one-man Pop Blossom this time.
Viper's alive.
Sushi Cat first. Viper
He's
there.
still alive.
J-Bear, look at him. His damage is insane. The healing is nuts. The Dream of Viper's going to fall down. She was nice. Now has to scramble away for her life there. This Renekton refusing to fall.
Crocodiddly did it in the top lane. Look at J-Bear. Look at him go. Man, that is some vicious chompers on this Gator. Picks up all of that and lives to tell the tale. That's when you're taking home to your kids.
Oh, yeah. Never saw... Looking for a bit of a flash play and maybe getting a little bit ahead of themselves. But you know what? I respect the tips. But yeah, I think J-Bear earned himself a honorary Florida citizenship with that play. Truly some impressive stuff for living that long. Almost 1v3 there at the top.
And it's funny, I think Never Saw, this is a term that we use in Ultimate Frisbee. When someone makes a great play, it's called conservation of greatness, right? Like, you want to just like try to chill back down and be like, we're good. But I'm sure the team was just popping off. And so Never Saw was like, I want to make a big play too. And unfortunately used their flash for nothing there. So conserve the greatness. J-Bear now incredibly strong, incredibly powerful in side lane. And honestly, now you're recognizing as this Renekton, you're not going to be scared of the Nocturne Twisted Fate combo on top of you anymore in the side lane.
Yeah, maybe not. It looks like Scruff Ninja might actually be... Oh, Sushi Cat, sorry. Might actually be getting caught out there. We'll actually walk away. But now it is the second Rift Herald under fire here. This Renekton working towards their second item. Certainly is going to be a powerhouse there in the side lane. We were talking earlier about how getting picked off on the side lane is a threat. But looks like J-Bear just pulled a Udo reverse card back onto Hypnotic there.
Yeah, that very much is the Uno reverse. And, you know, yes, Renekton does fall off a little bit later on in the game. Yeah, I mean, I said you got to be scared of this Nocturne Twisted Fate. Not if you're J-Bear and you're playing like that in the series.
Yeah, not on that one. And I never saw here. We were saying they were feeling themselves earlier. Seems like that still is going to be the case. Picking up that Magi Soul Stealer. 8 stacks right now. Looking to increase that number as much as possible.
Well, speaking about numbers increasing, it looks like it's going to be a Dragon. Could be number 3 for this Chaotic Solar squad if they are able to keep up the pressure. With just seconds away until we got to take stock of some flashes and key ultimates available. So far, 9 of 10 ults, with the exception of Featherstorm, is available. But Never Saw, yes, you have the Magi's. Yes, you even have your completed mythic item in the Rocket Belt, but what you don't have is your flash. So you got to be a little bit careful on finding these engages around the objective. J-Bear trying to get some vision and hold space for the team now, but it is going to be the red team first in the pit.
Yeah, both teams jostling for position here. Hypnotic Viper actually finding the pick onto Neversaw. This is the flashless Nico you were talking about earlier. Gets shut down immediately before the fight even starts. Now Dumpa taking a serious chunk of their HP as well. All 5 members of Hypnotic staying very close to each other. Boyle gets caught out there. Hypnotic Viper finding the crucial picks. Bring this soul point denial, picking up the bounty, finding the team fight win for Hypnotic.
Those are the picks you want. You need to capitalize on these caught out members. And no, it cannot be J-Bear. But it wasn't, right? We talked about the Never Saw not having the flash available when it came into that fight. I thought they were going to use it for the engage potential, but it was the complete opposite. They needed to run and they had no way to do it. So you're right. Credit to Viper for finding those angles. And now Scruff Ninja in the top side is in a little bit of trouble, forces the teleport out.
Yeah, by ulti available, Rift Herald drops, so this tower is going to come on down. Sushi Cat coming in, trying to ward off some aggression, but we got the counter TP coming in through as well. Tower falls on down. Neversaw looking to aggress on forward, but Viper is here once again. Does not get the knock up this time, but Neversaw still in a bit of trouble here. Hextech Ultimatum is dropped on down. Boyle ready to maybe offer some assistance there on the side. Both teams feeling themselves a bit of caution in the top lane as all 5 members find themselves in the same place.
Feels a little bit like a peacock, just showing your feathers, right? Showing that you're big and scary, but nothing happening quite yet. Dumpa's still looking for the aggression, and there's the Cosmic Radiance.
Yeah, and that's going to signal the start of this team fight. All 3 members caught with it, but Hypnotic smartly disengaging, maybe looking for a re-engage opportunity afterwards. Paranoia coming up very soon, but seems like the members of Chaotic going to be able to escape for now.
And this is where you see higher level gaming, right, Potato? Like, I feel like so many other elos in that kind of situation, they will just brawl to the death, right? Like, it really is like, all right, we're going to fight one team's going to win, the other team gets the Baron, whatever happens with that, but not here. And I think that's really crucial just to notice that you don't just need to fight for the death around everything. And ultimately, Dumpa was like, hey, I want to get this blue buff. And if you're going to contest me, we'll look to try to fight you. We'll use some ultimates even. And ultimately, yeah, you got the buff and no one died, even though those 10 members were looking at each other for quite a bit of time there.
Yeah, I think definitely some very smart decision making. I think the allure of team deathmatch can be very strong. You see an enemy
Sure.
champion on your screen, we're going in, we're fighting. Especially when you're picking champions like Doctor, it's like, all right, I'm pressing my buttons. But yeah, these experienced players certainly have some more discipline to their play. Viper now waiting in the sidelines, maybe looking for opportunity to strike in the mid lane. But without knowing the numbers of the situation, simply just offers some shields. They're the 80. Oh, okay. Looks for a little bit two-man knockup, but that's for calling. You're in, you're out, you're all good.
In, out, all good, and they are. One player that I'm not sure if they've been in, out, or good this game would be AllOutPotato. We talked about the power of this Cosmic Radiance early on. Do you feel like he's delivered on some of this promise that we saw from the pick in the draft?
I think in the last fight, the Cosmic Radiance was a very strong deterrent, but I think this next Dragon fight might be the real important one. I think, he's made some good map movements. Maybe he hasn't necessarily had the biggest chance to show off that OT usage, but who has been able to show off OT usage here is Dumpa here, finding another one, Rampage now on the Vi.
And unkilled so far in this game. We're seeing why this guy's got a 7 or a 5 KDA over like 80 games in solo queue. Does a great job at finding these angles. And it's 21 and a half minutes. And I don't know if Dumpa had complete information knowing they couldn't just start up the Baron, but that's something you got to be really scared about as a jungler in the bot side of the jungle early on here. But now they might find Riddy. Killing the jungle definitely would mean a Baron start at this point. But,
that certainly would help
really
their case, yeah.
but
Finding a nice stun, yeah.
Finding something. Viper looking for the flash on mid.
Yep, there we go. The cleanse burn on verticality, trying to run away as fast as they can there. The ignite is dropped. Thankfully lives. Here comes the counter engage. Feathers fly indeed. A counter cleanse there from She Was Nice. A good route. Viper going very low. Paranoia dropped on down, but unstoppable is Dumpa continuing to dive forward without a care in the world. The double kill now.
Still alive.
Sushi Cat flashing, trying to find the shutdown desperately.
No way.
With the crucial stuff, we were asking if he had an impact earlier, and there's your answer. He delivers, keeping that bounty live and whole there. A great play in the mid lane. Chaotic knowing their limits.
Who is this guy? Dumpa showing up. Oh my, what a performance from Vi there. Somehow barely escaping from the skin of their teeth. Now back to full health. You got the Taric, you got the healing, you got the fight, and you got the Baron too.
Oh yeah, this guy, some true Giga Chad gameplay coming out. Dives your AD, dives your support, dives your tier 2 tower, lives.
Oh man.
Gets the Baron, basing. Now they're looking for Dragon Soul Point Part 2.
This is feeling a little bit like a Diffie in the Jiffy here in game one. And as both these teams are going to be back onto the map just seconds until that third dragon. Like you said, trying to stack toward that soul. But if you're the team with Baron, you are taking this fight every day of the week. There's no one in split to try to pick off with these global ultimates. So you just got to take a 5v5 team fight here, down a Feather Storm, down some of their spells on your Xayah. I think you just got to give this objective up.
Yeah, Jay Bear there going to play frontline warden for his team. There we go. We got the Proto Bow 2-man Pop Blossom coming on in. And unstoppable now is this Vi. Literally, physically, She Was Nice there getting run down by this scary Croc. Dumpa continuing to chase straight into the enemy base. Scruff Ninja even forced to flash away, ult away, trying to birdie every resource just to stay alive there. And now, with the Baron secured, with the Dragon Soul Point secured, they're going to be barreling down the mid lane, cracking open the base towers.
Now it becomes a game of tower defense. Can you stall out this Baron still for nearly 2 minutes? It's active. Yeah, you got the Dragon, but what you really care about is the base. See Dumpa setting up another wave in the bot side here. It is half health and low mana. Jaber taking a couple of tower shots, but they're just going to keep on sieging. Would expect to see a second inhibitor going down, but Dumpa is leading the charge out of there. Says, all right, team, we got what we came for. Let's take a reset and try to get back on the map and use this next 80 seconds that you have available.
Yep, just a case of follow the leader there. Cracked open those towers, got the mid inhib, said that's enough. We're gonna reset. We're gonna spend our money, which they are laden with at the moment. A 10k gold lead coming out already here. They're going to get ready for maybe another final push.
Another final push. I expect to see it happen in the top side. Again, still a minute available on this Baron buff, so I would expect to see a little bit more pressure.
Yeah, and crucially, still no summoners on your bot lane. In fairness, Verticality, Boyle also missing theirs as well. But
Yeah.
I think the more pressing question here is the survival of this Hypnotic squad against. We thought Hypnotic were the ones diving. Turns out we were wrong. It's Chaotic diving you all day, and Riddy might be getting caught out here. The spell
Oh,
shield is
this could
burned.
be a
Oh,
pick though.
actually, counterplay from 4 people. Can they find it? There's the Tarek ult coming on down. Dumpa survives from the moment. J-Bear offering support from the very edge of the Hextech ultimatum. It is She Was Nice firing away as fast as humanly possible. Can they find the damage? Does get one back onto the Renekton, but the rest of the team is rapidly falling. Another Plot Blossom coming on down. Scruff Ninja now almost dead from the Zonius is going to go down. A triple kill falling over towards Verticality, and that you gotta think have to be the end. They're pushing through the top towers. They're going to join back in to the mid. Dumpa, the one who was such a catalyst for the entirety of this game, now beating down onto Sushi Cat. Almost bot breaking straight into the fountain. Thinks better of it at the last moment. Starting to crack the Nexus towers on down. You gotta think this is game 1 going over to Chaotic.
It's not vault breaking, but it's Nexus breaking. It's kneecap shattering. It is game number 1 claimed by Chaotic Solar. I don't understand Dumpa. I don't understand how this player just had that kind of performance. Like, absolute beast. Didn't even die in that last fight, Potato. If you got a jungler like that on your team, man, oh man, does it make games feel just a little bit easier. But the whole team performed when they needed to here. Yes, it was close early on, but the mid game, the late game, all Chaotic Solar in this first match.
Yeah, certainly a confidence-inspiring performance. You think this guy's gonna get Vi for the rest of the series?
I sure wouldn't be giving it to him. Like, when you got 3 bans and none of them are going to this 3.5 million mastery point champion, but you're banning the J4 Syndra Varus, I think you got to rethink your game plan a little bit. I understand what you were going for with this, looking to first pick the Xayah, look for that combo. Oh, but Hypnotic, it does not look good when you're playing on the back foot.
Yeah, and I think if we just look straight at the draft, I think Hypnotic actually had a lot of great ideas going on, right? You have a safe 80 carry while the rest of the members might be able to make side lane plays around the map. But unfortunately, it was Chaotic bringing out all the plays throughout the early game, syncing up together, and Hypnotic felt like they just were never really able to hit their stride in this first game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, there's still lots of steps to take on the path to the end of this series and the end of the Shurima division. We got more strides here as these teams are still warming up in this best of 3 this evening. We're going to take a short break as these teams just reset for the second game in this best of 3 tonight. And myself and Potato will be taking a short break ourselves. And when we are back, we will be into draft for game number 2 here on Style Esports. So stay where you're at. The sides have swapped. The casters are the same. My name is Llama with AllOutPotato, bringing you action for game number 2 between Chaotic Solar and Hypnotic Gaming here. In the last round of the knockout stage before our semifinals, we have Chaotic Solar versus Hypnotic Gaming. Game number 1 was taken by this Chaotic Solar squad. Now we're going to see if they can keep it up here in the second match to take home the series.
Yep, Hypnotic has to close this one out to have a chance in game 2. Looks like Nocturne actually hitting the ban table this time around, and Junglers under heavy fire here.
Yeah.
4 of them taken out in the first 4 bans.
There's the vibe, man. I mean, I'm not surprised. We're not giving Dumpa that pick here in game number 2. Really showed so much prowess and known as a Vi player and Vi one trick. Like they said, we'll just pick Zaya into it. We'll be fine. And they, spoiler alert, they were not fine here. So lots of junglers getting taken off the ban table with the Rakan and Vera. So going down the pool just a little bit in that jungle, see what you might be reaching for. Maybe go back to some classic bruisers or tanks here, but we'll see what Chaos wants to, it should be Chaotic. I don't know if it says Chaos, but Chaotic Solar. See what they want to be picking here on their B1 now.
Yep, indeed. Side swap. So Orianna going to be picked up right away. This was something that was banned out in the previous game. So showing that it is still a priority pick and a strong one at that. I mean, we did see the playmaking ability of the Neeko last time. And Syndra going to be the answer. All right, this is a matchup we've seen before.
Pretty classic,
yeah.
This does feel very classic as well. You know, as one team that banned Ori last game, the other team banned Syndra, but they kind of are happy with that matchup. And so with both of those being up, they're both going to be taken down here. Other thing we saw last game was a big focus on ADC. I'll be curious to see if here in game number 2, we see a similar focus on that marksman pick. Right now with the Ashe being hovered, I wouldn't be surprised if we see that being locked in for Hypnotic's ADC with She Was Nice here in game 2, and it will be the choice.
Yeah, and last game, Hypnotic, they tried the global ultimate strategy. Seems like it didn't quite work out. This time, seems like they have a lot of pick potential. I mean, you got Syndra Scatter's always a threat in these team fights, buys you so much space. And of course, Ashe Arrows can really turn the tide as well.
Yes, champs to turn the tide though. Rel is one of those champs that I really like seeing paired up with an Orianna. When you think about that shockwave and you can match that with the Magnet Storm, and we're going double horsey action. Yes, you could have held the Rel as a flex. We saw that Hypnotic actually, I believe, played it recently last week in the jungle for Riddy, but this time it is going to be the double ponies on 2 and 3. This is a very, very strong combination, and Dumpa maybe trying to channel their inner, maybe Dante is here now with that pony in the jungle here in game number 2.
Yeah, the only thing better than 1 horse is 2 horses, and Chaotic, they've got the horses. Yeah, I do like Rel as an answer into the Ashe. Every time I see this matchup, I get flashbacks to Worlds. Shout out owner. And yeah, Alistar. Okay, this is a bit of a bold support blind, I want to say. I feel like it's a champion that can't be punished pretty heavily in lane, especially when you have a champion that's very good at securing lane prio like Ashe. So I'm curious what the answer will be.
I mean, the thinking here is into Rel, right? Because on paper, Alistar does counter Rel. You can stop the crash down with the knockup. Rel has to be in close range. You can look for headbutts and reposition. So it does do a really good job at least stopping the Rel engage. What it doesn't stop very well is the Hecarim engage, right? So this is a multi-pronged attack, and Alistar really only stops one of these threats. But hey, if they say, well, you're going to pick 2 horses, we're going to pick 1 cow. And
trade offer. You get 2 horses.
We get a cow. I think if you're getting the horses, you're getting the better side of that trade deal. I don't know about you, Potato.
I mean, look, beef is pretty expensive where I'm at right now. And also scratch my earlier comment about the Alistar support blind. I may have gotten an eye exam earlier today, but looks like I'm still blind as ever. Definitely just completely missed Chaotic.
Yeah, the Alistar wasn't blind, but you sure might be, buddy.
Hey, you got that right.
But hey, speaking about going blind, looks like neither of these top laners want to be blind picking with some prio picks up on the map. 4 top lane bans in the second half here. We'll see. I expect it to be, again, Hypnotic saving that till the end. And there go with the friend of the forest, the Vern, hitting the jungle to go against Hecarim here.
Okay, I actually kind of like this. I mean, you have, I think, just so much space in fights when you play together with Syndra and Daisy, and with a comp that is as dive and combo heavy as what Chaotic is drafting out so far, Alistar Ivern, I think, can actually temper a lot of that, and Ashe with space to hit in fights can be pretty potent. So, I kind of like this pickup.
I do like the idea, and looks like Jin is actually going to be the response. So wanting to stay away and stay at range is the marksman now for Chaotic Solar. It's going to be Verticality piloting a new champ here in the bot lane. I like that range into Ashe. Maybe it doesn't pair up quite as well with Rel, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Boyo just teaming up with Dumpa once again, like we saw in that last game. You just send these two horses around to go gallop through the forest of the enemy's
Oh.
jungle. And J-Bear LOL. Who's going to be laughing with this pickup on that blind top lane Garen?
Yeah, defecting from Noxus to Demacia now, picking up the other one of the two Spin brothers here. And Garen, honestly, it's a champion I'm a little terrified of. It feels like every time I run into this champion, he kind of one-shots me. So we'll see if any of that comes around. I do think the gym pick here, yeah, is a little bit more offbeat.
Yeah.
Not the greatest pairing with the Rel, and I think traditionally also struggles a little bit into tanks. And Alistar and Daisy is a very kind of disruptive frontline that can make it hard for Jin's long-range support to come through effectively. So we will have to see how that gets piloted. Aatrox as the answer, I think always a nice, good, perpetually useful top lane answer.
I agree. I think that is I think perpetually useful is a very apt way to put that here, Potato. And yeah, it's a solid answer. It makes sense to me. I think that's true here. And as I look at Hypnotic, it does feel like it is the support of Hypnotic this time, who has their work cut out for them on the Alistar, right? Because you need to stop the crash down from Rel. You need to knock Rel away. You need to keep this Garen off of your Ashe. You need to be blocking shots from Jin. You have to make sure Ori Shockwave does it, right? Like, there's so many things that Alistar needs to do. And when you're the one tank, I mean, this cow's got to be over here just, messing with the bull and giving them the horns to try to keep their carry safe. Because Aatrox got a little bit of it, and you got some Ivern shields, but all kind of that main peeling is going to be on this support alley.
Yeah, certainly does have a lot of pressure to perform in this second game. And hey, the Rakan, I think, actually was pretty decent last game. So, I have a little bit of faith in this player. And I think as a whole, if we take just a straight look at the 5v5, I think I do favor Hypnotic a little bit. But if I think about the strength of Chaotic from the previous game, right, their mid-jungle playmaking, I think Orianna Hecarim is a much stronger link-up than Ivern Syndra.
And yeah, and I think that's so crucial, Potato. We saw the power as well as the potency of mid jungle on the impact it had in that game. Whether it was the jungle invade at level 3, where 4 members from each team collapse, or if we saw it around the Rift Herald plays, or the later invades where we saw Nico perma have wave prio to be able to go in the jungle with Dumpa, right? Like, all of these little moves and these pairing synergies are so crucial. And now when we say Chaotic Solar once again drafting what I would consider as well to be a stronger 2v2 in the mid jungle, you got to be a little bit careful, I think, if you are Hypnotic, because Ivern and Syndra really have no business contesting any space that Hecarim and this Ori want to be in that mid game.
Yeah, Hecarim is one of those champions that can just clear really fast and feel like they're everywhere. I mean, I think that was one of the strong points of Dumpa last game is it felt like they were just there for all the plays. They were just running people down nonstop. And Hecarim, I think, stylistically can offer a similar set of strengths.
And meanwhile, Ivern is just going to try to deny some camps, I think, mess up a little bit of the very obvious sequence that at least Hecarim's like to go. I mean, my guess is if you put this matchup into op.gg, it does value the Ivern when we think about, what might be the ideal matchup. However, we got to take these players into account. Who's behind the mouse and keyboard here? And if I'm Ivern, I'm not gonna want to be playing into Dumpa in game number 2. That is for sure. So I do want to see if maybe Riddy will just be able to absorb some of this pressure that I expect Dumpa to put back out in game number 2.
Yeah, I think sometimes these game resets, right? They can't change the picture entirely. I mean, you got new set of champions. It's a new matchup. It's game 2. It's your playoff lives on the line, right? You're looking towards those finals. You're looking at the $700 pot. You're bringing out the Vern. I think this man's got a chance.
I think he does too, right? I think there is definitely a chance here as well. I like seeing the friend of the forest. Again, this is do or die for both of these teams, but right now in this game that's about to come up, it could be the end of this road for Hypnotic Gaming. They need to win this game and one more to stay alive in the Shurima division, secure themselves a top 3 finish in the bracket, as well as secure at least $100 prize. And if not, they're going home with empty hands and empty pockets.
Yeah, and the only home that these players want to be going back to is home for Christmas. So hopefully they are going to be bringing out their A game here on this game 2 of the Rift.
We'll have to see what happens after spectator delay. Prediction is live. Let us know. 100% of people were right with game 1. We'll see if that trend continues here in game number 2. We will be right back. We are onto the Rift for the second game of the evening here in the last round of our knockout stage. Everyone is currently pinging Hecarim on the Rift as we're coming in. We might need to be turning off these chats here, Potato, because remember in their party chat, there's actually not a limit for how many times you can ping. And it looks like our spectator is also seeing every single one of those.
Yeah, it's sounding like a Vegas deck shuffle out here with the number of pings being spammed out onto the Rift. Seems like maybe this time the members of Hypnotic, they're gonna have the eyes peeled out for Dumpa in the jungle.
I mean, maybe it's also just, first time Hecarim, what are we doing, my guy? I definitely did not see the 3.5 million mastery points this time on that champion, but we'll see what they can still do in the jungle. We know it is a very competent player, so regardless of champion, might find those angles. And we'll have to kind of see here in this early game. It looks like neither junglers opted for a potion early, so just going to go for a little bit of a power farm, it seems like.
Yeah, and I do like myself seeing some power farm. I also like myself seeing some Ignite Garen here in the top lane. J-Bear rocking that pick.
Says, hey, we got to win top harder now. I'm curious on this Ivern pathing too. J-Bear is actually forced to run through Sushi Cat.
Yeah, and when you have 3 abilities on Aatrox, that's gonna be a little more value than the one from J-Bear. So going to get themselves a nice HP advantage. Bit of early laning advantage there as well. Hecarim starting on the top side, so no early buff steal going to come out here from Riddy.
Yep, and we'll see Riddy's path, right? This is always very curious for Ivern. I think this one is very uncommon because basically if Hecarim wanted, would just come right behind that first mark and then just start grabbing all those camps up right before they fully harvest. Looks like now there is one that has fully bloomed now. So we'll see, because right now, still level 1 on Ivern, right? If Hecarim is here, you could maybe have snuck in through this bush, and then Riddy would have just been absolutely destroyed at level 1. But instead is going to save their smites here. Looks like does mark, I believe, all 6 camps. No, just 5 of them. So we'll be actually smiting that first crop. So always interesting for this Ivern. You never really know where this guy is based on the very strange, clear patterns. But where we do know where people are is in the top lane here. And J-Bear seems to still be trading with Sushi Cat aggressively. And when you got the Ignite, you want to see that.
Yeah, definitely happy to trade away HP in that case. And Viper also going in for a little bit of a trade of his own. In that double knockup. Like to see it, for sure. But yeah, seems to be a fairly calm early game this time around. No level 3 invades. No crazy action going on.
No crazy action quite yet now, but as both junglers are finishing their first clear, we'll see if they do want to get onto the map here soon.
Yeah, looks like we might be in for a 3v3 here in the bot side. It's not going to be in the jungle this time. It's going to be in the bot lane. This is a nice counter engage from Boyle. Going down onto Shi was nice, but a good root coming in from Dumpa. Now charging down onto the Ashe. Might start get turned around again. Boyle falling very low. Gets a good 2-man stun though. And here we go. Shield coming out on Viper. The CC chain from Verticality misses, and Boyle now under a lot of trouble. First blood from the Flash. Alistar there now headbutting Verticality on back. Dumpa trying to run away. Verticality doesn't seem like they're going to be able to escape this one. Burns the Flash, but to no avail. It's going to be the double kill going on to the cow.
This is a great spot to be at. If you are the team from behind, you want to come back here.
Ooh. And Scruff Ninja actually getting Never Saw it down super low. One more ability is going to do it. Doesn't even need to land that one. Just right clicks Never Saw straight back into the grave, and a much stronger start for Hypnotic in this game too.
Absolutely. When they need it most too, Potato. Across the board, bot lane as well as that mid lane solo kill. Never Saw, remember, this is that first pick Orianna getting solo killed into a matchup that Scruff Ninja got a counter pick. It's known as being an advantage into Syndra unless you got great feet. And so a little bit of skill going on there. And it looks like Scruff Ninja is getting the better of that trade in the mid lane. However, Never Saw back to the traditional early Dark Seal. This player's not afraid to still ego there in the middle.
Certainly not. And yeah, this is a mid lane matchup where a lot of footwork is required. Looks like Riddy might be looking for a bit of a top lane opportunity here on the pushing wave. J-Bear actually going to be very, very low. If he gets caught out here and dies, it will be a bit of a top lane disaster. Looks like he's slightly aware. Where's the bot side? Doesn't check the top side. The root misses, unfortunately. So J-Bear under fire does get the slow exposed on him, spinning onto Sushi Cat, but just needs one more auto. Going to be able to find that one. Dumpa maybe looking for a counterplay in the top lane. Decides against it though. So just another free pickup, 4-0 now for Hypnotic in the second game.
Yeah, and I think that honestly, that's kind of what you got to do as Jay Bear. I'm like, why did this guy not flash? But if you flash there and your lane is frozen, it is just so doomed for you to play through the top lane there. So, Jay Bear, I do think, yes, you could have maybe lived, but now you're top with no flash and no wave. And I don't think that's a better situation to be in.
Yeah, at least Dumpa was there to hold the wave a little bit. So not going to be absolute disaster, but yeah, lacking the TP here, going a boots rush on the Garen might be a little bit painful for a bit in this top lane still.
Yeah, and as we think about these counter matchups too, Potato, right? Yes, we do have red side for Hypnotic Gaming, but they saw the top lane that they got a counter pick. They saw the jungle they got a counter pick. They saw the support they got a counter pick. They saw the mid they got a counter. Did they get all 5 counter picks here?
Uh, that might actually well be possible.
The only one they didn't counter pick was ADC. Was Ashe was blind, but they picked Ali into Rel, they picked Syndra into Ori, they picked Ivern into Hecarim, and they picked Aatrox into Garen. Like, Hypnotic got 4 out of 5 counter picks for their lanes. And it's good to see that they're taking advantage of that in the early game. Yes, counter picks are for lane. They are designed to do better in lane by the nature of it being a counter pick. But you still need to build synergy around team fights, right? Like, you still need to have a 5v5 team fight. And Hypnotic Viper in the mid lane forces the flash I never saw, but misses the pulverize.
Yeah, just the inch too short there. Needs to grow out his horns a little bit more. Do have the Orianna ulti coming out in response, chunking out the Syndra a little bit in this mid lane. This is a mid lane matchup that can be very volatile, right? Like, suppose Syndra, picks up another kill or two, then off the back of any scatter, Orianna's just going to disappear. So I like the idea. Alistar looking for that roam, looking for a play. Unfortunately, execution just a little bit shy, so Neversaw is going to be able to live that one just fine, but will still always have that danger in mind. Did build a flash there, so there's a bit of an open window.
Yeah, and that is the window you want to see punished now, right? Yes, we saw Scruff Ninja use their flash earlier for a solo kill. So maybe you can try to punish it here, especially Alistar level 6 has great dive potential. We see the Dragon that has not been taken yet, nearly 8 minutes in, and the Rift Herald becoming available. Level 6 timers are coming on the board as well. And as we look at these early fights, the ultimates that are stronger in these skirmishes, especially with multiple members, I'm favoring the mid jungle of this Chaotic Solar squad.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. However, I think Hypnotic has had pretty consistent prio, so maybe they can try and convert that into an early dragon, just like Chaotic was able to do in that previous game. Seems like they might be heading in that direction. There are some good wards from the side of Chaotic. Might be able to spot that out. She was nice, maybe looking for a bit of a 1v2 play, and looks like Ivern going to start up the jungle, start up the dragon.
Ivern on the Dragon is great, especially with Daisy available. You're able to use Daisy to tank so much of that damage. You just keep dropping those little trigger seeds on top of this Daisy's head. You pop the damage, you keep the shield, you do the damage yourself. It ain't fast, but hey, it gets the job done. It ain't much, but it's honest work. That's for sure.
That's true. And if you get the result you're looking for, that's all that really matters at the end. Now we got Alistar linking up. Yep, there's the Dragon solo. Gets an early Cloud. We'll take that, right? 1 off the map, starting the journey towards 4.
1 of 4 complete, 25% of the way there here. And Herald was not taken on the cross map, right? Dupa just did a big job of just clearing on repeat, it feels like. I'm not seeing much invade. I'm not seeing too much of a, aggressive playstyle so far from Dumpa. Just happy to sequence, reset, grab a pickaxe, reset, have tier 2 boots, reset, right? Like, this player is not playing nearly as aggressively, and maybe it's that lack of comfort, right? You give this guy Vi with 3.5 million points, every movement, every timer for every play. Maybe just a little bit of that discomfort, and also saying, hey, team, let's just play later game team fights, right? Like, let's wait for me to get some items. Let me just keep sequencing, and I'll be faster than Ivern for the nature of their movement, and see if you can make a play happen. Dumpa now is going to see this ward at least. And with Boyo on the top side as well, maybe this is where they want to start looking for fights.
Yep, pulling the support up. Classic play here for the Herald. And in fairness, Hecarim has been out clearing Ivern by a decent amount. Ivern has been around the map. was able to get some of those assists going for the lanes, was able to get the objective Hecarim there for the power farm. So I think both champions, playing to their
Uh-huh.
character strengths.
Oh, the
Enchanted
arrow.
flying on in, but it is a level 6 route here. They might look for the counter engage. Shockwave is going to
Never
make
got it.
everybody. The Herald is actually stolen, and here comes the Jin OT from downtown, looking onto Scruff Ninja. Viper trying to block with his body. Will he be able to do so? Riddy going on down. A fight in the top lane has J-Bear winning out as well. Boyle going to be headbutted away, and so it was Alistar looking for the initial engage, but it's Chaotic still finding the best of it. Stun just barely misses, but the movement up from Verticality, turning the team fight, the top lane 1v1 win, the wave crash denied, plates taken. These are big wins coming out for Chaotic despite the Herald steal.
The Herald steal was great, but it did just feel like a small prize compared to all those other things you just laid out. The gold lead was nearly 3,000 potato, now within 200. Right, this was still a big swing in the gold difference, and now we need to say, what does that mean for this team? We know they're a team that can play from behind and be very successful doing so, but we want to see what happens. Chaotic, they won last week after some shaky early games, but can they do the same thing here?
And that is going to be the question in everybody's minds. I think the execution there on the last fight was really good. Pulled in their extra member. A lot of the extra gold there was onto the Alistar, the Ash Arrow. Not finding the effect that they wanted. Initial engage going onto Boyle, onto the crucial member. So many things going their way in that early Herald fight. But now the Herald steal is going to pay off. They're trying to look for this bot lane crash. Ash has found themselves a nice CS advantage in exchange for Jim moving up on earlier. 3 members coming on down for the bot lane, maybe looking for a bit of a play. The arrow goes down onto Dump, but there's no ultimate available, no flash either, so immediately the Hecarim's going to go down. Syndra here is in the vicinity as well, looking for a dive, but never saw a tight on the heels. Flash now from Verticality. Boyle looking to buy time for the Orion to come on through. Will only buy their way into the grave, though. Never saw just going to be able to take down Daisy. A small consolation on the back of a very successful dive.
Dumpa feels way more lost on this Hecarim than they did on the Vi. Like, it does feel like a completely different player when they don't have that comfort on their champion here. And we're seeing it getting punished. Even she was nice, landing that arrow once again. Even things like not securing the smite on the Herald, right? They're getting smited away by Riddy. These are all small things. Mechanics locked down on the champion, and you're just trying to remember what button to push at what time.
Yeah, definitely. I find myself the victim of this too. When playing on more unfamiliar champions, even just basic tasks in the game, you're spending more brain power thinking about champion-specific things. So sometimes your fundamentals take a hit as well. J-Bear here now looking for a proxy. Riddy in the area, but so is Boyle and Dumpa, so this is going to be a 2v3 here in the top lane. Riddy trying to escape, but does get feared up by the Hecarim and absolutely executed by the might of Demacia.
Had the flash available, but Demasia's justice came through before the timer was even available. Sushi Cat was trying to keep J-Bear off of that tower, but almost down to 1 plate left. Has already taken 3 of them in the top lane here, and this matchup seems to be all J-Bear's favor.
Yeah, J-Bear quietly getting almost 4 plates there in the top side. Shockwave is available here for the mid lane play, should there be a catch there. And Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes on traded for the cleanse from Verticality. And now top lane pressure continuing on one side, bot lane on the other. It feels like these teams are really punching back and forth. Verticality wants to punch down onto the Ashe though, but is able to sidestep the Gen ulti just fine there, not taking any shots to the face. Now finding themselves on towards the Dragon, using their nice prowl and absolute vision control around this area to pick up number 2.
This is a great spot to be at. 2 dragons in. Yes, that top lane fight didn't go their way, but having the dragons in a tied gold place is a good spot for them to be in. And this was a team we felt was really on the back foot in game 1 due to the nature of their mid jungle composition. Yes, you're still playing maybe a little bit reactive here, but at least they're not picking aggressive champions and then playing reactively, right? Like, they have picked reactive champs. Like we said, 4 out of 5 counter picks, and they're playing into these matchups completely fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the execution this time around definitely much better. I mean, even finding a very potent advantage there in the early game. Never saw still trading very aggressively onto Scruff Ninja though, and
oh my gosh,
very nearly finishing out. And J-Bear.
Oh yeah, you do.
Go. Flash, yeah, don't matter if you got that, buddy. Aatrox just falls there, and Garen's looking very scary right now.
Yeah, guaranteed 100-0 there. That was kind of wild. That's, I guess, why you take the Ignite. Ignite, Phase Rush, Tier 2s, you just jump on top of them. Spin to win, drop an ultimate. More health the lower they are, and holy smokes. Yeah, that was impressive. So it's going to get that entire tower. Yes, plates have fallen, but individually, the gold lead just in the top lane is sizable.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you get
1800.
the entirety uh, of the top lane tower, the plate gold, all to yourself. And that was the damage into an Aatrox. If you imagine the same thing into a Syndra, into an Ashe, it's going
Oh,
to
they're
look like a
going.
much more grim picture. But now Dumpa, wanting to make up for our earlier criticisms, finds a great engage down to Ready. The root is good. The arrow is not going to be enough counterpunch. And now She Was Nice is going to find themselves
Oh,
in a
gonna get
very
it out.
precarious situation. Does miss one auto onto the wrong target, but finally does end up getting the trade as well. Still, it's an advantageous play for Chaotic as it's all 5 members pulled into this mid lane. J-Bear still has free reign down in the bot side, and they still trade positively kill-wise.
It did feel like that was a little bit of a dump-up play, right? Like, it's the kind of stuff that they were doing in game 1, where you're pushing aggressively into the enemy jungle, but instead you're Ivern, and they're Hecarim, and you're just not going to have the pressure if it's responded to, right? And it was, and Dumpa was able to just ghost, stay around, and then get that fear, right? So you do have to be careful still. We talked about the strengths, and I was praising this squad mid jungle for picking reactively and playing reactively. And then they're also going for a little bit of too aggressive of play. So we will have to see now. The Herald is available. It looks like Riddy and Viper have teamed up to try to clear out some vision. Sushi with no teleport in the bot side means it will be a 4v4 around this objective, and ultimates are not quite yet up available for Dumpa and this Magnet Storm for Boyo.
Yeah, and another consequence of that top lane play is She Was Nice ended up losing both summoners there,
Ooh.
and that will not be back available for the next dragon.
Oh, Sushi cat.
J-Bear slightly miscalculating their damage there, looking for another execute, but was 1 HP short and gets turned around itself. The Rift Herald stolen. It's 1-for-1 there in terms of Rift Herald steals, but now Dumpa is on the charge, gets the fear, just barely misses out onto She Was Nice, gets turned back around from the Syndra damage. Boyo with a nice stun over the wall, though. She Was Nice with the flyaway arrow, does not quite get it on the fadeaway. Scruff Ninja now under fire. So Rift Herald stolen 2-for-1 in terms of kills. Advantage back towards Chaotic.
Couple things I want to point out there. One, Sushi Cat outplaying the 1v1 under tower from J-Bear. Went too aggressively there in the bot side. Meanwhile, the Dragon, or that Rift Herald timer, really did not have upgraded Smite Potato. So yes, it was a steal. Dopa smited at 1146, just because Riddy Smite only did 900 damage. So that is just unfortunate. Never saw does get the tower on the top side and does slow Viper enough. And then in that continuation, Riddy trying to run, try to save the play, but then shielded themselves. And She Was Nice almost dished out enough damage to keep that fight alive. Unfortunately, did not. And because of Riddy shielding this own self with Ivern, meant that maybe She Was Nice could have picked up a kill if it was used more appropriately on the carry. Is going to pop the Yomas in the mid lane. But anyways, it was basically to say a kind of a comedy of errors from both sides. But like you said, I think you're right that picking up that Rift Herald and the team fight, Chaotic's going to be happy with that outcome.
Yeah, and in those tight situations, I can't fault the execution too much. I mean, even the shield went on Ashe, Shattering Strike from Rel, nice positioning from Boyo, would have interrupted it, but Dumpa, another great multi-man ulti, and Riddy just immediately taken out of the fight. A good counter stun, but an even better shockwave, verticality flashing over the wall to find the kill, and now Viper under fire, forced the flash away, and looks like they don't seem to have an answer into these Hecarim engages. Dumpa maybe had a bit more of a shaky start early on, but these ultimates have been on point.
Well, what is your answer? Right? Like, you can't stop them.
Unleash power coming through. Ooh, never saw. Forced to burn the flash there in the mid lane. Barely staying alive. But yeah, it is hard. It is hard. I mean, I think the positioning there is just troublesome because it's unstoppable, right? You can't interrupt it. So Viper, might be wanting to absorb it normally, but if your carries are in a precarious situation and you have some very immobile carries, then the fights will be very hard.
No, and I think that's a key piece, Potato, that we haven't really touched on much. This is an immobile squad that Hypnotic Gaming has. Like, they want to stand and fight. Ashe wants to stand and fight. Syndra needs to get spell rotations off in these fights. Ivern, just stand there and throw shields, right? Like, you don't have mobility. You want to stand and fight. And Dumpa says, I'm just going to go through everyone and fear y'all in this backline with his onslaught of shadows. And
Yeah,
what are they going to do about it?
I think Hypnotic needs to just have a much more clearly defined frontline and backline, because I think if Hecarim, right, if he dives in, the follow from the rest of Chaotic, in theory, is not that strong. I mean, Neversoul
Yeah.
has to be pretty close to the fight to get the shockwave right after the onslaught of shadows. Rao there also is not the most mobile champion. I mean, Hecarim certainly is going to be much faster. So if the carries are able to be back a little bit more, if Sushi Cat and Viper are able to play some of that front line, get some more of those bulky items going, I think they have a chance. But unfortunately, for now, these catches from Dumpa, they've been landing on the right targets, and Chaotix do not need to be asked twice to provide the follow-up necessary.
You're absolutely right. And yeah, you're right that I think that clearly defined frontline backline is so key. Like, you almost need this Alistar like 2 screens ahead of your carries, right? Because if they're not, they're just going to be going down.
Yeah, and Sushi Cat almost going on down to the Garen once again. Flashes traded in that top side, and I think the side lane pressure, right, is also a thorn in the side of Hypnotic. I mean, who are you sending to answer this Garen? So far, it has been the Aatrox. They have been able to keep the tower alive for now, but now dump up with another great catch into a side lane. It was the Vi last time, it's Hecarim this time, and it's Scruff Ninja hitting the grave for the first time in this game. Not even sure how they had the vision for that one. Maybe just great instincts, but now looking potentially for a Baron play.
Yeah, I think it's from maybe the previous wave that Syndra was on, and they knew they were going to be resetting there. And ultimately, if no one's there, it's no harm, no foul, right? And so really just trying to secure that entire topside vision. Granted, it has been now pinked out by this Hypnotic gaming squad trying to reestablish some of their vision in their own jungle. But again, when you're immobile, look where Ivern has to be standing against Boyo clearing this vision, right? Like, you just can't walk up. You can't step up. Boyo's now going to be resetting for more wards. And even though it's still a little bit of time until this dragon, about 2.5 minutes, the Baron is the focus for both of these squads. And you do have to be so careful of who's walking in where and how far you're going. Because like you said, Potato, that clearly established vision lines and your front and back line have to be so obvious. You need Alistar just being so far ahead to lead the charge. And if they go on him, that's fine because he can disengage himself. And if you try to go for the carries, you got to be able to just peel off the rest of the team, right? Like, you got to be aware of that. And Scruff Ninja taking damage once again, has flash available this time, but down to a quarter health.
Yeah, the catch, the trap from Neversaw, very good. We'll have a TP to join back in if necessary. Crystal Arrow just barely missed though, and then now Boyo is actually the target. Neversaw barely missing out on the slow. The Gen ulti is not going to be able to find the finish. And now Sushi Cat teleporting in, looking onto verticality, finding himself in a 1v3. But Aatrox sometimes does thrive in these situations. Gets the Gore Trinket, the healing is good. But there's the Unstoppable. Nice flash from She Was Nice. Trying to peel back from Dumpa. Hypnotic Viper trying to offer the assistance. The Garen ulti is absorbed.
They got him
by Riddy there, and now the jungler is down. Can they find more off the back of this fight?
That was the kite that was needed. She Was Nice was very nice in that kiting. The flash was perfect, pulled the Hecarim away from the rest of the team, and did a great job being able to focus down that pony there in the front line. And Potato, you called it out. The team had no way to match that backline pressure, so you were able just to shred down Dumpa and then look for a continuation. It was not to be had that time, but now you got a 5-minute timer where Ashe does not have their flash available, and you have to be even more careful as this marks.
Yeah, J-Bear still pressuring down that side lane though, and yeah, I think that previous fight, just the resource absorption from Hypnotic was so nice. Scruff Ninja getting caught in an ambush, but takes the shockwave, lives. Riddy absorbs all the full combo from Garen and the ultimate, barely, but lives. She Was Nice, pulling out that Hecarim engage, but flashing out with the support of the team, lives and turns it around. But this time, some of those resources are down, right? No sums on your ADC. This is a second dragon coming out on the side of Chaotic. Will there be a contest?
I'd like to see a contest here, but yes, you called out, the resources being down are so crucial. She Was Nice without flash or ghost available means it's so hard to approach. We talked about Viper needing to be the first one in. If Viper says we're not going, then you can't go in. J-Bear is on a vision ward, but does not know that. Does now know They got Boyo. Maybe once again, they
Yeah,
might want to
arrow on
commit.
Boyle, but look at
Watch the
Dumpa on the
Hecarim.
side. They want to
Hecarim's
find the
dead.
re-engage, but Daisy buying space for the team. It is the Rel falling immediately. Neversaw maybe in a slightly precarious situation. Seems to be able to get themselves out for the moment. The Daisy knockup going to be a little bit shy, so seems like a 1 for the Dragon trade.
Yeah, I was a little bit confused there with the which force was fallen. But look at this.
Oh,
Speaking of this
yeah,
force going
Dumpa
in.
wants more though. Gen ulti there on the backside. Sushi Cat going to find themselves, but Ash is firing away. Lots of damage falling into the back of the Hecarim, still going to speed himself out of there. So some ultimates traded, but no one falling for the moment.
Boyo back alive now and trying to reestablish mid lane priority. Baron also available. Sushi Cat on a reset with no teleport, meaning only 4 members are here, and it's going to be Boyo first to this fight. You have to be careful. I don't think you can start the Baron in the pit, especially as an Ashe with no summoner spells. We keep saying it over and over again, Potato. Ashe with no summoner spells is dangerous, but they found Boyo again.
Yeah, Boyle once again caught, and they know Hecarim here does not have the counter punch. It was used earlier. J-Bear now into the fray. It is so much damage from this Garen spinning across the entirety of the team. That's a double kill coming on through. It looks like the engage simply was not enough to find the damage. A triple kill now coming out for Verticality, and even Scruff Ninja going to find themselves the victim. They are in the top lane. It looks for a moment like Hypnotic had the upper hand, but Chaotic are able to turn it around.
I thought the pick was there again, but it was on the wrong target. The resets were not in. They looked a little bit too aggressive, and they paid the ultimate price. It is a lost team fight. It is now, after this Baron, nearly 10,000 gold, 8.5K separating these two teams. It is Chaotic Solar back in the driver's seat in game number 2 once again.
Yeah, and J-Bear definitely in the driver's seat in this top lane matchup now, as it has been for the rest of the game. This Garen Aatrox trade looking a little bit rough on the side of the Aatrox.
Yeah, Aatrox is now in trouble, down about 40 farm individually, only 2 items completed versus the 3 of J-Bear. Having their own hole breaker, Garen, is going to continue to be a menace. Hypnotic Viper is playing aggressively here, and I am surprised that the squad is okay pushing past the river, because any of these picks could be lethal, and it might be just that for Hypnotic.
This might be one of those picks. Genulti gonna get tossed down. Ash ulti traded, but very well blocked by Boyle. Body blocking on both sides. Gonna make sure that everyone walks away home, though.
Yeah, so yes, you're trying to get that vision past river, but you just got to be holding your base. Open inhib in the top lane, and you really have no ability to push out, but they found the...
Yeah, nice pick onto Verticality. Did not have the cleanse there, so had to burn the flash instead. But Dumpa may be looking for a little bit more. Every time you see that movement speed charging up on the Hecarim, you got to feel a little bit nervous. Viper now heading back to base, looking to get a little more health, finding that reset. Nice route from Riddy there. Sushi Cat might be under fire. Both sides jostling for position.
Trying to just hold the base is this Hypnotic gaming team trying to hold on to the series. They might have found a pick on the J-Bear. J-Bear flashes out.
Onto J-Bear, uses the Alistar flash, but J-Bear has a flash of his own, going to survive there. Now it's a mid lane tower under fire there. It is the Hecarim running amok towards the enemy team. Still going to stay okay for the moment. J-Bear maybe looking for another trade onto Sushi Cat. The damage is just absolutely nuts.
Hypnotic Viper missed the pulverize, and now there's going to be a timer to siege on the inhibitor in the mid lane.
Yeah, they want to get this bottom tower. Knocks away Dumpa there. Knocks up J-Bear, but now is under fire. There's the Sword of Demacia coming on down, and now it's a 4v5 hold. Sushi Cat, the Sterax has been popped. Forced it back on down. Jin firing away, trying to find another pick here in the mid lane, continuing to push forward the rest of the team. Neversaw and Boyle buying space for the tower to go down. Nice shockwave, finds Ready, forced the flash on away. That's going to be a second inhibitor falling, and now Dumpa is going to be under pressure. She was nice, is able to find the trade onto that Karim, but very low on resources. Neversaw down to 1 HP, trying to hide away from Sushi Cat. The route from Verticality is good. Boyle with the counter engage on just a sliver of HP is going to find 2, but the 80 carry down, that's all your damage away. Scruff Ninja now the one who has to carry the entire rest of the fight. Boyle with a flash forward, trying to find the CC stun. Looks like Jin just going to absolutely be okay. Turning this one around, though. J-Bear is there. The rest of the squad is there, ready to get vengeance for their fallen comrades. Now pushing onto this open nexus. It is just one cow, and it looks like 2 horses were stronger after all, as the second nexus falls. And again, it's Chaotic taking the 2-0 victory.
A 2-0 victory. That game was much closer It looked like it could have been cleaned from Hypnotic, but ultimately the chaos ensued. No hypnosis tonight, Potato. And it is going to be Chaotic Solar with a 2-0 victory, who are punching their ticket into the semifinals, into a secured best case scenario win and worst case scenario third place finish. And it is also when we have to say goodbye to Hypnotic Gaming.
Yeah, and very commendable effort here, but really just well played by Chaotic. Was in control the entire time in that game one, and in this second game, right, was at a pretty strong early deficit, but turned it around with just strong team fighting, incredible sign lane pressure from the Garen, and great coordination from the rest of the squad.
It really was great coordination there. I mean, impressive to see this team just playing so well together. Verticality really impressed me on this Jin as well. And ultimately, after some shaky starts and getting their feet under them, it did feel like Dumpa, with all four legs, was able to charge into battle, find their footing in that mid game once again, and be able to be the key initiator in these team fights that really secured the W for this team once again.
Yeah, the early plays fell a little bit short, but so many of those mid-game fights were off the back of those two-man, three-man Hecarim ults. It did seem like Hypnotic was able to learn from that, adjust off the backs of later team fights, but by then, just a little bit too late. They weren't able to pull together all of those team fight wins. They got the Baron turnaround, got the Baron, closed out the game from there.
And that's just great showing what you can do when given that opportunity here. And yeah, this, you give a team an inch, they take a mile, especially at this highest level in our Shurima division. So really impressive to see what they were able to do from this team. But their competition next week, it does not end. They need to play against you, Alberta Amber. They actually got taken down. Chaotic Solar did lose to this squad last. Oh, they actually beat them last time. I lied to you. They're doing just fine. They're going up against you, Alberta Amber, but they were victorious against them here in the third round of the Rumble stage before Chaotic Solar got knocked down by Glacial Mafia, who was waiting for them in the finals. So Chaotic Solar only has one opponent left to beat. Yes, they've already taken down this squad here. They have taken Hypnotic Gaming down once again as we send them home. And now you, Alberta Amber, the final boss before Glacial Mafia, a rematch potentially waiting for them in the finals if they can make it through next week.
Yeah, they want to be there for that rematch. They want to get their revenge and secure that first place finish. So we'll be waiting to see whether they'll be able to pull that off.
Well, that is going to do it for us tonight. Myself, Llama, and AllOutPotato bringing you this best of three tonight. Congratulations to Chaotic Solar for moving on. Thank you to Hypnotic Gaming for participating in the Shurima Cup this season. There's going to be more style esports action coming your way, and hopefully we will be here for it. But for now, that is going to do it for us here on Style Esports. We will see y'all next time.